G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Today I'm reviewing the Philips 5400 or Philips 5400 series automatic espresso machine. Now I've been using this daily now for a couple of months and I think it's fair to say that I could not live without it. I love this machine. It's really well done, really well made, and produces great coffee. So I'm just going to take you through some of the things about it that I really like. And why I think it's definitely worth considering, even though it's a $1,399 recommended retail price here in Australia. So it's a bit of an investment, but I love it. Now, design-wise, I love the look of it. I think it looks really cool and sleek in your kitchen. It's not some of the ones that I've seen before. They've got a bit more width to them. This is a bit more streamlined. So if you've got a particularly thin bench, like a 600 bench, you might struggle there. But I've got it in the corner here and it works a treat there. So it's a bit longer, but it isn't quite as wide. I think it looks really sleek and nice. Now, this thing has 12 different coffees that you can kind of automatically brew. And it's got 4 different profiles, which you can see me go through here, as well as a guest profile. And what that basically does is it just basically, once you put a profile, then you choose your coffee, it will remember what you did and remember the settings. So the next time you just go press the button and it's already set for you. And I'll show you that in action in a second. Up here, we have a little bean capsule. So it holds a fair bit amount of beans. And look, the beans, if you've never had bean coffee before, like the beans are pretty expensive, but they taste so much, they taste so good. Sorry, I tried to do that with the wrong placement. Now, in here is a little space here. You can actually put powdered coffee in here. So you can put powdered coffee in and do that for a run, and you have to kind of put it in each time. Or you can just have the beans sitting in there and I'll just grind through. Now, one of the things that I really like about this machine is all the design just works really well. It's a lot complicated to use. So for example, if I would like to fill up the water, it just pulls out like that. You fill up the water, you can see it says add water. That'll come up if you run out of water. And then you can, I bet you can one hand this straight back in, and that's it. And that's how easy it is to change the water. There's nothing fiddly about it. Again, if in here, like once it grinds, it catches in here all the leftover ground coffee, and that just sits in a perfect little tray like that. It's super easy to come out. They've even got a little design here so you can pour out the water or any of the gathered water, which is great. And then it just slides back in really quite easily. Now, one of the things I should mention is that you do want to have, if you've got it on, you do want to have a cup kind of sitting there, because it self-rinses every time it turns on, which is great, but that means a bit of stuff comes out that you don't want in your actual coffee. And if you leave it on and just like walk away, it'll do that rhythmically, like until it turns itself off. So it might rinse itself again in like 20 minutes or something. You'll just hear it's kind of like going off in the background. You go, oh geez, I've left it on. So it's good just to we just have a cup that just sits there, a neutral cup that just sits there and just gathers anything. Otherwise this fills up. Now the reason why I bring that up is because if this fills up, there's nothing that tells you that that's full. So you kind of got to be a little bit vigilant on that, because if you don't put the cup there and you just let it pour out, or if you have a spill, or if you miss it, or something goes wrong, or when the kids presses a button, anything like that, and this fills up, the way you find out that it's full is that you still start to see coffee pouring out the side of it here, or the dirty water coming out the bottom. So if there was one complaint I have, that there's no sensor to kind of pick that up and say, hey, you need to empty your tray. Yes, it does with the coffee grinds. It knows when that's full. It just doesn't know when that's full. But you know, like I said, you just put the cup there, and it's only happened to me once. It was like, that's what happens if you don't empty it. And I haven't made the mistake again. Now, the other thing I love about this, compared to other coffee machines I've used in the past, is the way that it handles milk. So I can't stand the little tube of milk that comes out that you stick in a cup and it froths and everything, and then afterwards you've got to clean the tube and then clean the cup, and I hate it. So the way that this works is, you've got this completely separate container that holds the milk. And you can obviously put as much milk as you want in there. After a couple of coffees, you pretty much work out where you want it. So for me, I have quite a lot of milk because I've got quite a big cup and I like it full. So I have about that much milk in there. That just goes back on. There's no hinge or anything, it's just loose on top. So easy to wash. And then they've got this really smart system where it just basically, that's it. And it's connected. And to take it off like it's one-handed job. That's it. So what we tend to do is we use it in the morning. If there's milk left in it that we want to use later on, we'll just put it in the fridge as is, and then bring it back out like I've just done then and top it up and go again. But otherwise, it's just easy to take out and rinse. And you can actually option to, once you've used it, rinse it through the machine as well once. And that doesn't clean it, but it just gives it a bit of a rinse and gets kind of into these areas that you might not get easily with a tap. Just give it a rinse, and that's it, and it's done. And I love it. I think it's almost my favourite feature is how easy it is to do the milk. And I'll show you it in action. It's probably going to be a bit loud, so hopefully you can still hear me. But I'm going to go for, one thing that just so happens is that my favourite is flat white. And that's in the menu under more drinks and down, because there's 12 options, like I said. So they've got the most common ones up here, or you go down to flat white. And then you can set here, if you're coming closer, you'll be able to see, you can set how strong it is, which is just up, down. So it's late in the hour, I don't really want it that strong. How much water you want to go in the cup. So like I said, it's a big mug, so I'm going to leave all the water in there. And then how much milk you want. And I've got the milk, I know from previous usage that that's about that amount of milk. So 140 mils, 180 mils of milk, and latte go. A couple of beans falling down here into it. I've never had this clog out. I've never had it misread how many beans are left. It never said, oh, you're out of beans, and there's just been heaps of beans here. It only ever says it when it's out of beans. So it's been really good with its detection on that. And yeah, the process, look, you know, it takes a little bit of time, but not too bad. And there you go, frothed milk, which we also use for hot chocolate for the kids. You can just pour straight hot water out of here as well if you just want to do a quick tea without an urn. Get some milk froth in there. And then we should start getting some coffee. And obviously it smells fantastic as it wafts through the house in the morning. I kind of wish that they could found out some way of kind of directing the smoke out, the steam out, so you can get that waft kind of comes into your kitchen, because it's such a lovely smell. And it just says morning. Now I should have actually pointed out, I actually do a second milk froth. That's why I put that much milk in. So that's where you'd end up at, and then it'll do its little thing, get over itself. I've done some hard work here. Jeez, I need a break. Oh, you know what? It's because I did extra strong. Now it's doing this a second time because if you remember when I did the strength, I left the strength quite high. So it's actually doing a second grind here. That was a mistake. That's going to keep me awake all night. But anyway, I'll soldier through. Right, enjoy, and you're done. And then what you can do, and what I tend to do, is because I like I said, I like a nice full cup, is when it goes back to the main screen here, which I should do in a second, I go down to milk froth and add a bit more. I can't remember if that's the right amount, hopefully. It seems like too much. I haven't actually been having this particular brew for ages because I've just moved to expressos for a while because I'm cutting down on my milk. So I might have got this slightly wrong, which would be unfortunate considering I'm filming right now. But this just shows you how you can kind of manipulate a little bit and the ease that you have with this milk frother. I'm going to have to stop this, I reckon. See how we go. Oh, I might have got it just right, you know. Living dangerously. never in doubt. So, there you go. So now I've got a message to add water. So that's just saying I'll just use up the rest of the water. You beauty. Do I have something in my moustache? Now, as I said, then that just unclips like that, and it's easy to go wash in the sink. And to fill up the water, out she comes. And that's pretty much it. So, like I said, I'm really, really happy with this machine. I love the way it's designed. I think it's been really well thought out. I think that there's lots of little, you're paying a little bit extra at $13.99 for this than you can for some other models that are out there from Philips and also from other brands. But you're seeing that money in just the smart design choices, how easy everything works in and out, how you move it about. Like I said, we've been using this steadily for 2 months now, and it's never missed a beat. I don't expect it to suddenly miss a beat. So definitely, if you're in the market for an automatic espresso machine, I can recommend that the Philips 5400 series is definitely one to consider, because it has been well, frankly, it's been keeping me going for the last couple of months. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'm Chris Stead. Until next time, you.